On Friday, Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren became the first major Democratic presidential candidate to call for the House to begin impeachment proceedings based on the results of Mueller's probe. The severity of this misconduct demands that elected officials in both parties set aside political considerations and do their constitutional duty. That means the House should initiate impeachment proceedings against the President of the United States, Warren said via Twitter. Mueller's report, which was released on Thursday, presented facts showing that a hostile foreign government attacked our 2016 election to help Donald Trump, and Donald Trump welcomed that help, Warren wrote. Once elected, Donald Trump obstructed the investigation into that attack. Mueller put the next step in the hands of Congress. To ignore a president's repeated efforts to obstruct an investigation into his own disloyal behavior would inflict great and lasting damage on this country, and it would suggest that both the current and future presidents would be free to abuse their power in similar ways, Warren wrote. I think it would be perfectly reasonable for Congress to open up those proceedings, Castro said, adding, they're going to decide whether they are going to go down that route. For me, I'm running for president. Other 2020 candidates have shied away from calling for Trump's impeachment and suggested it's either premature or overly divisive. A staffer for one of the Democratic presidential hopefuls told NewsPulse News they thought Warren's push for impeachment was an effort to grab attention in a crowded field. The White House did not respond to requests for comment about impeachment. Many of Trump's allies have suggested Mueller's report was a complete vindication of the president. Mueller's report detailed a sweeping and systematic Russian government campaign to interfere in the 2016 presidential election, as well as numerous contacts between members of Trump's inner circle and people linked to the Kremlin. According to the report, the investigation established that the Russian government perceived it would benefit from a Trump presidency and worked to secure that outcome, and that the campaign expected it would benefit electorally from Moscow's efforts. But Mueller's report ultimately said the investigation did not establish that members of the Trump campaign conspired or coordinated with the Russian government, while also noting the fact there was no proof of cooperation did not mean it had not occurred. Along with outlining Russian interference in the election, Mueller also described instances where Trump engaged in behavior that could have constituted obstruction of justice. The special counsel did not rule on whether Trump obstructed the investigation, and instead left that decision to Attorney General William Barr, who declined to charge the president. However, Democratic House leadership has not backed the impeachment push. In an interview last month, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said she believed impeachment should not be pursued without clear evidence. I've been thinking about this. Impeachment is so divisive to the country that unless there's something so compelling and overwhelming and bipartisan, I don't think we should go down that path, because it divides the country. And he's just not worth it, Pelosi said. Other top-ranked Democrats have largely echoed Pelosi's line. After Mueller's report was released on Thursday, Pelosi sent a letter to the Democratic caucus announcing a conference call on Monday to discuss this grave matter. Pelosi's office did not respond to a request for comment. She declined to comment about the possibility of impeachment when reporters asked her about it on Friday. The lack of support for impeachment from House Democratic leadership has led to frustrations within the party. On Thursday, shortly after Mueller's report was released, a Democratic Hill staffer who supports impeaching Trump told NewsPulse News they were pessimistic the report would have an impact. "I'll be shocked if it changes anything," the staffer said. The staffer cited House leadership's lack of willingness to start the process, as well as the fact the Republican Senate majority means any impeachment effort would likely be defeated. But on Friday evening, the staffer said Warren's comments was a clear sign of growing momentum among Democrats, though they acknowledged that Pelosi is not likely to get behind impeachment on the Monday call. A Pelosi ally also suggested the speaker would not be calling for impeachment and would instead maintain her position that Democrats should prioritize policy issues. "She's focused on the agenda," the ally said.